My name is Jake, and we own a company that does mileage and expense tracking software for independent contractors. When COVID hit, we really wanted to take care of our employees because they were our most important asset. So we kept people on payroll even when it wasn't necessarily economically the right thing to do for the company, but it was the right thing to do for people. I first heard about ERC Specialists from my neighbor, and he told me about the program, and I said, I kind of already know about it, and I knew about it under the old rules, which actually weren't that great. And then he said, no, let's sit down and look at this business. And it ended up being fantastic, multiple six figures in credits for us. We applied for the credits, and then it was just a bunch of waiting, right? We were kind of hopeful. To be honest, we were a little bit skeptical whether or not the IRS would actually cut the checks. And then eventually we got some notices in the mail, and they came sort of in batches and by quarter. And we got 5 of them, and they said, hey, you overpaid on your taxes or whatever, and expect a check soon. And then about a week later, after getting the notices, each notice, we got a beautiful check in the mail, and it was the most fun check I've ever cashed. The process of applying was really easy. I filled out this questionnaire that they had that sort of helped me understand if I would qualify and for about how much. And then I simply submitted some documents, some payroll information to them, and then they called me. We had a little quick chat, and we got all the paperwork filled out and submitted, and it was a really pretty painless process on my side. And they did a lot of work. And I would never want to do this myself. Number one, because I feel like there was a benefit to having a specialist do it. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to get the most out of the credit. They know how to make sure you qualify. It was a really easy process. The ERC credits, knowing that those were coming, allowed us to continue to keep people employed, and it was a huge benefit to me.
COVID, obviously, nobody could really have foreseen, planned for, or even thought in our lifetime that you would have to close your business. Out of pretty much nowhere, we got notices that said, hey, you guys need to close, and they hit the fitness industry really hard. Actually, industry-wide, 35% of all fitness businesses around the U.S. went out of business and didn't reopen. When you find really good people, you want to keep really good people, and so our priority was to make sure that our staff was able to stay employed. So we kept everyone employed. Our whole business is based on hiring amazing people and then leveraging their talents to help us become successful. So knowing that we were making the right decision by keeping those people employed during a very tough time allowed us to now kind of recover from that expense, right? When you don't have as much income coming in and you make an investment into an employee and then you're able to see a benefit come back, it's surprising, but very welcomed. So I heard about ERC Specialists, and she pretty much took care of everything, which was nice. The follow-up and follow-through is what I noticed most, is the proactive communication. Typically, I'll get an email and not sure what it is, but they were on top of things pretty regularly. So we were pretty informed as to what was going on the entire time. I 100% would not have done it on my own. As a matter of fact, I just referred somebody to ERC Specialists yesterday because it was so simple. Not only is it important to do paperwork correctly dealing with the IRS or any government body, because it's very easy to mess up and then all of a sudden you're liable for something. So having a company that understands and knows what they're doing is just worth its weight in gold right there.
When COVID hit, we immediately sent everyone home. Network Consulting Services has employees across the country, so we were pretty used to working from home. About 40% of our workforce came into the office every day, and then that day that we shut everything down, I came into the office every day, everybody else stayed home. We do computer engineering for a lot of big corporations, and because so many people went home, our billings really dropped. We had a big loss the first year. We were able to hang on, and through some of the government programs, we were able to make sure all of our employees got paid, and we were able to hang on to everybody, which was great, but it was a rough 2 years to get through. We had to find a whole new way to do business, and what we ended up doing is we created a studio in one of the empty offices in our building so that we can do demos and Zoom meetings and everything else. Our demos and Zoom meetings are they're the best. Sometimes we even get applause. Nobody gets applause after a Zoom meeting or a demo, right? Kind of as the pandemic was wrapping up, we got some new tenants in our building. And one of these is a gentleman that had worked with ERC before and said, hey, this is a really good company. You should check this out. And so we called up and talked to somebody. They said, look, it's a flat fee and it's a percentage of what you collect, and if you don't collect anything, it doesn't cost anything. So that's a no-brainer. Great, let's do that. So I called my accountant and said, hey, look, there's a company that says this is what they're doing. I'm not sure, is this on the up and up? Where are they? And he said, oh no, use them because I don't know how to navigate that. That's not my specialty. So we went with ERC. I got on the phone. They told me what I needed. I spent at most an hour collecting documentation, send it over to them, and I would say within 48 hours it had turned around and they said, yeah, you're eligible and we think this is what you should be collecting. I think about exactly 5 months I got my first letter that said, look, we've made a change to your 941 form and this is what is due to you. Oh yeah, and this is the interest that is due to you as well. So, and then just a couple days later than that, we got the checks and got them deposited, and it still seems like, really? It was that easy? That was that easy. So it's worked out great for us.
During the pandemic, obviously everybody's been affected. It's definitely different times that we're living in right now. We've never seen anything like this in my lifetime, and we weren't sure quite as a business how we were going to get through it or how it was going to affect us.
I think the one thing that was interesting about the pandemic is what a huge uptick it made for attendance, and all of our client censuses seemed to explode.
There were no more in-person meetings. You were stuck in your office. Everything was done on phone and on Zoom, and business kind of ground to a halt as far as growth and marketing.
We were trying to work from home and adapt to all the technological changes that happened in the industry.
Josh from the ERC reached out to us. It was a very welcome conversation, and the fact that those funds were much needed at the time, and we were excited that there was some help out there for us.
So I debated back and forth, and I'm like, well, maybe I can figure out how to do this myself. And I just got thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I really wouldn't have had enough time to sit down and figure it all out had they not gone through and done all the heavy lifting for me. And I just literally had to get them a few pieces of information. So the overall process was smooth and great. ERC, fortunately for us, had step-by-step instructions of everything that they needed. It was super easy to go through. I drug out those files, uploaded them to their secure website, filled out all the information, and away we went. A couple weeks ago, I come into the office on Friday, and there's 3 checks sitting on my desk, and they're pretty sizable. So that was pretty exciting for us, and it was really nice to have those, and it couldn't have been better timing for our business actually. So it worked out really, really well. I tell you, it was a welcome relief and very exciting for us to get those checks and to have that money to be able to take care of our employees, expand the business, continue to roll forward, and just relieve some of the day-to-day pressure that comes with running a business. Throughout the whole process, I really appreciate ERC Specialists being able to handle our claims and our process the way that they did.
So in 2020, when COVID hit, we really weren't sure how it was going to affect us. Our supply chain was heavily disrupted. We receive and purchase computers off lease, and people weren't recycling their computers because they just weren't sure what was going to happen. So there was a lot of computers that we normally would have been purchasing off lease that were just sitting there collecting dust, and we couldn't purchase them because no one was getting rid of them. Our top priority was keeping our employees employed because we're a really close-knit family environment. They mean a lot to us, and we wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. So when we heard about ERC Specialists, we were really excited to find out that it was going to be fast and easy for us. We just applied online. It took us about 20 minutes, and we got an estimate. And then what we did was just downloaded some of our files from QuickBooks. It took us literally 20 minutes to get everything done. And then the next day we received a call and an email about next steps, and it was one of the easiest things we've done as far as tax filing goes.